Ahoy there, it's Kai, and this is my third attempt at this, so let's hope that this works. So, the cutlery cuffs. This is my prototype. It is a fully functional version of the mechanism that is used to set and release these up and down inside the cuff. I decided not to go ahead and build the armband, since that's just going to be Velcro, maybe an armor piece or two for decoration, but the important part was to get this mechanism working. I'm also going to make a straw version, but due to the straw being plastic and having a much smaller tube, my solution for this is just going to be attaching a plastic nub to the straw and using the same mechanism as I did with this, but without the neodymium magnets to keep them in, and just straight up pulling the straw out with the nub and all. So as far as my process went with prototyping, I had some things that went really well and some things that took many, many tries. The thing that went really well was actually this tube here, specifically the insert for the spring. So for the spring, I put it in a base of these Warbler beads. I really like these due to the fact that all you have to do to use them is stick them in some water, some hot water, and they will basically become a putty-like plastic that you can just mold with your hands, stick into whatever you need to shape it, and there we go. So that is the plastic, and then you get the spring on the inside that causes this to work. I did have one failed rendition of this tube, just because I wasn't quite sure how to where to place the holes, and I made it too short to test enough, and I also was kind of bad at drilling them with the Dremel the first time around. So I found the right piece, I found the right proportions to use, and thus this piece was born. The most difficult portion of this prototype had to be this inner piece. I tried quite a few ways of molding it, but the biggest things were the neodymium magnets, trying to get them to stay in place while I put the plastic on, as well as getting the whole mechanism to fit inside of this PVC pipe. So my first attempt was to stick it into this little piece and mold it in there, cement it in, and then push it out. And that did get the mold of the knife and fork, but it also stuck in the PVC pipe. So I couldn't actually get it out. It was just a mold, a divot of these with the neodymium magnets. So that was out. Stuck this piece back in there, got as much of the plastic out as I could, and tried again. My second attempt of trying to mold it around these first and then stick it in the pipe also failed, due to the fact that by the time I got these to mold into the plastic and tried to stick it in the pipe, it wouldn't go in. It would just get stuck. The plastic was too hard and thick. So my final attempt, and the attempt that actually created this piece here, was to do the fork and the knife separately. So I molded the magnet onto the knife and the fork, and then I basically plastic welded the two together at the bottom here to create this final piece, using it as thin as possible, and then I would also stick it in the pipe on the occasion just to round out the sides and make sure everything was fitting correctly. So that's what ended up working. I did have some side pieces here that I also put on and tried to use, but for flexibility reasons, I realized that this solution was actually a lot better because it allowed this mechanism to pop in and out a little easier. So that is my prototype. As far as improvements go, obviously I'm going to need to build the straw mechanism and Velcro for the hand, for the attachment to the arm. I'm also going to redo this piece here, this inner piece, to fit the fork going outward rather than the knife, because as it currently stands with this mechanism on the outside, that was backwards, sorry. With this mechanism on the outside, the fork sticks into your arm, and that's kind of uncomfortable. So I'll fix that, mold this a little better, and then do the final trimmings of it, and it'll be ready to go. But yeah, that's my prototype. I've got a working mechanism, which is what I was hoping for, and here we are. Thank you so much for listening. Let's hope this one has sound, and I will catch you in the final stages.